This is where we see some of the challenges in, like you said earlier, B2B, especially in social media, is very dry.
Yeah.
But then we also have very, very technical information. So we've had clients come to us and say, hey, we want to be more fresh. We want to be more exciting, more cutting edge, more funny. And then we produce content to like, yeah, we can't do that. So like, I think there's a balance between how we approach the market and making sure that that end user audience is able to ingest the right information, because we can't be surface level whenever we're marketing very niche audiences with technical information. So thank you for joining the Missing Half podcast, where we're discovering what's missing in manufacturing and B2B marketing. Today, I'm with Koti Wright, the marketing director and coordinator here at Breck Bueller, Scales, and ICS. Koti, how are you doing today?
I'm great. How are you?
Great. Well, Koti, thank you for joining us. And I know you've had just a wild ride here recently. There's a lot going on in Breck Bueller. There's a lot going on with ICS. So maybe tell us a little bit about your background, what brought you here, and what got you excited about marketing and got you into this.
Okay. So I really was self-taught a lot with marketing. Started out in network marketing, doing just like online companies. And that was probably about 5 years ago. And I built a team pretty large with about 80 to 100 people underneath me.
Wow.
So just really helping them grow their businesses, but also growing mine at the same time. And then when my son was probably about about 3 or 4, I took a step back from that. Just the burnout was real.
Sure.
It was just, a pyramid type MLM company. But I still continued with the love for content building. And then COVID hit. TikTok was a thing. And I was like, okay, my son is 4 and he's like thriving. He loves, being in front of the camera. I love being in front of the camera. And him and I would just make silly little videos. Well, then I had a couple videos go viral on TikTok. My son actually ended up getting one of them sold to the show Ridiculousness. So then, I don't know, I just kept growing on the whole social side of everything. So just my love for that just came very natural and just wanting to learn more. And I still do, outside of my full-time here with Breck Bueller and ICS, I help small businesses in my area with their like Instagram reels and building their content to help them. And I was originally hired with ICS as an office manager, assistant, admin. I don't really know what my title was. And then it was like operations coordinator or something. When I was hired, I was 4 months pregnant. So went through basically just training at that point. Went on maternity leave, came back, and they were just kind of like, we're not sure what to do with you now. Like, you're back, you had your baby, and we just want to make sure like you're thriving here too. And sure. I guess there was a meeting that I was not a part of with the other office administration and our branch manager and Dennis. And something was sparked about me and marketing and how like my TikTok following was up. And I guess they said they've never seen Dennis like light up so much because he had like this itch of wanting to build our marketing side here for Breck Bueller and ICS. So
sure.
Then I was brought into the loop. So that was June of last year. And they brought it to me and said, what do you think of this? And I was like, let's go. Like, I'm ready. I love this. I thrive for this. And so now, I started with ICS marketing back in June, just kind of tapping into a little bit here and there and just kind of doing and playing around with stuff. And then officially for Breck Bueller in January of 25.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you. So it's been a little over a year since being with ICS and now Breck Bueller, but I feel like I've been in so many different roles and worn so many different hats. But it's been fun.
So I think this is something we can discover right away in this this conversation of what's missing is never miss a meeting, because you never know what's going to happen when you miss a meeting and then people are talking and then you come back, you're like, uh-oh, what did I get myself into? That's an old joke from a long time ago, right? Whoever misses the meeting is going to be responsible. So this is something for the audience. Never miss a meeting, because you don't know what's going to happen.
Yep.
Koti, that's really interesting that you come from more of the grassroots side, which we're certainly seeing an upswell in the industry of those who haven't maybe been traditionally educated in marketing, haven't really been in that corporate side, but have an amazing acumen to be able to deliver from more of that just like raw and more, I guess, like effective and conversion based. Like, so, when we think about the corporate side, it's safer, take less risk, those type of things. But then whenever you were able to go viral, saw one of your son's videos, those type of things, that's a whole other economy that occurs within media. What have you learned as you've kind of seen those worlds come together, that grassroots, and then the corporate side? Because that, I'm sure you're seeing, you have to have some trade-offs there. Like, it's not just, you can't just go shoot TikToks at corporate and then that's okay, right? There's some like more like, what do you want to call it, boundaries?
Yeah, for sure. So especially with the corporate side, you have to stick with branding. You don't want to just use any color. Like, I'm not going to put something out for Breck Bueller or even ICS and it be, green and black. Or I'm going to make sure I'm sticking to the colors, and also making sure our content is serving not only our employees and our culture, but our customers, and they're getting something out of it. Marketing is to bring people's attention and to get people with us, right? Sure. So we're not just going to throw anything out there, because then that's not building any trust.
No, that's great. When I think that one of the things you just hit on there is brand. We have to be authentic. We have to be organic. But certainly if we're putting something out for a company, we want it to be on brand so that there is some association for that brand awareness long term. So no, that's an interesting way to look at that marriage or that convergence of that grassroots and corporate.
Yeah.
As you've looked at kind of bringing those two worlds together, what have you seen that's worked really well, or what do you see that's missing, or what do you see that like you tried and it was a total disaster? Like, we get real here. We bare our souls for what works and what doesn't.
Yeah. So I feel like the B2B marketing is very dry.
Sure.
Marketing, I think, especially now in today's world, it being 2025, personality is huge. Being organic is huge. People want to see real, raw. Like, don't be afraid to be yourself. Be relatable. And I feel like too, if you're just putting something out there that's not really you, but then you go meet this customer in person, they're going to be like, wait a minute, who am I? Who am I talking to? Because you're one way online, but you're another way in person. So still keeping it professional, but also having fun and relatable.
No, that's great. I love that. What do you think the most significant challenge you see like corporate teams facing today in marketing? What do you see as a challenge every day? Maybe if you were counseling a friend who is thinking of getting into this, what is something maybe that you've realized here, even just in 6 months to a year, that was way different than you expected it to be?
I think just the knowledge of it goes so much deeper than just the outside looking in. There's so much more to it than just putting a post up or getting some marketing materials out or putting a logo on a t-shirt. Marketing, especially now with the digital side, there's so much to it, and there's so many different ways you can go about it. Like, I can have one idea spark in my head, but then can be produced so many different ways, whether it's a blog post or a reel or a video or a podcast or an event. Like, you can use one idea and spin it multiple ways.
What I think one of the things we're seeing that is it continues to be a challenge for marketers is this strategic approach, right? So that's a problem. Like, what's the best strategy? 2, content. Yeah, we can repurpose the same idea a million ways. And that's before we get to the thumbnails. That's before we get to the headlines. There's so many variations that we need to test, right? And then when we find those things, what have you found as far as Breck Bueller and ICS are very, very technical products.
Yeah.
There's a lot of science, engineering. There's a lot of intellectual horsepower behind these brands. Have you found that to be somewhat of a challenge to come up to speed on a lot of the technical? Because I've been working with Breck Bueller now for I think 7 years, and I still learn something new every time I'm here. I know later we're going to tour Engineered Solutions today and kind of get a feel for that. But do you find that it's a constant learning in this manufacturing space?
For me personally, yes. Just because before joining ICS. Originally, I was in healthcare.
Okay.
So I was doing the admin side of, insurance and billing and scheduling and prescriptions, like nothing in this world of scales and calibration.
Sure.
So that's probably been, for me personally, like the biggest hurdle. And it does change so rapidly with just new things coming out, new product lines, new vendors, and just making sure the information is correct. I'm very thankful that I have Dennis and Derek to kind of lean on. And then also our techs at ICS are great. They're never, leave me alone. I feel like they really enjoy helping and sharing their input. And same with the Breck Bueller side. Since I've been doing visits with going out to branches, they've all been really knowledgeable, helpful, and willing just to put their helping hand in wherever they can or wherever I need it.
No, that's great. I think when you look at the culture you guys have here at Breck Bueller, that I know the Breck Bueller family and all of the leadership here has worked really hard to cultivate.
Yeah.
You're going to have a help first mentality and I think that's one of the principles in the American Grit and in that mission, vision, values statement. So yeah, you have a great team here that can help. And I think this is where we see some of the challenges in, like you said earlier, B2B, especially in social media, is very dry.
Yeah.
But then we also have very, very technical information. So we've had clients come to us and say, hey, we want to be more fresh. We want to be more exciting, more cutting edge, more funny. And then we produce content to like, yeah, we can't do that. So I think there's a balance between how we approach the market and making sure that end user audience is able to ingest the right information, because we can't be surface level whenever we're marketing very niche audiences with technical information. So I think we're really seeing, I'm projecting that 2025 through 27, we're going to see more and more humor, more and more innovation and organic content developed. However, very few companies are pushing the boundaries. And especially in the, like what I'm going to call the heavy industrial manufacturing, they're always slower to adopt. So it'll be interesting to watch who goes for it and who doesn't. I'm still trying to get a Gen Z cut done on Dennis and Derek. I think that would be hilarious, but we'll see. I owe Dennis for something, so we'll see how that comes together. And if we distribute it, we might not have jobs the next day here, but hey, whatever. It would be worth a laugh, right?
Yeah.
Today's episode of the Missing Half podcast is brought to you by 50 Marketing, the marketing agency designed for B2B and manufacturing companies. At 50 Marketing, we understand the unique challenges you face, from complex sales cycles to the ever-evolving buyer's journey. Our team of experienced marketers is here to help you navigate those challenges and drive growth with custom strategies that work for your business. Whether you're looking to elevate your brand, build stronger lead generation, or integrate your marketing and sales efforts, 50 Marketing has the tools and expertise to get you there. As a trusted partner, we offer a full range of services, from strategic planning to branding, content marketing, website development, video production, social media, and more, all tailored to your specific needs. Ready to take your marketing to the next level? Visit 50marketing.com. That's 50marketing.com and schedule a free consultation today. 50 Marketing. Marketing built for manufacturers by marketers who know your industry. Whenever you look at the future of like working on marketing initiatives, what do you think are the biggest challenges coming forward in B2B marketing here over the next 6, 12, 18 months?
I think just sticking and staying up to date with trends. There's different, everything changes weekly with marketing. whether that be like hashtags used to be a huge thing versus now they're kind of falling off. So just making sure that I'm aware of what's working, what's not working, and being proactive and staying in communication with also what I need from everyone else. That's the biggest thing, especially with how rapidly ICS is growing. And then Breck Bueller also, I know since the marketing, everything kind of started on the digital side, it's whatever we're doing is working. So just continue to that and just stay up to date with everything. Make sure we're staying, just communicating. And
no, I think that's the right attitude, because the rate of change has been aggressive, I would say, for the past 10, 12 years. And it is only going to accelerate because the two-letter monster that is or the elephant in the room, which is AI. I've been doing a number of presentations out and about for different organizations, and it's all anybody wants to talk about. What's AI going to do? And certainly if I had my crystal ball, I would be able to, figure that out, and probably would be retired by now because I would know and we'd sort that all out. But I think we're all struggling with it. We're all trying to figure out what's on the bleeding edge and what's applicable today, what we can integrate and scale and leverage, and what we have to wait on so it matures and is more readily available for us. So yeah, I think if you're going to, and I think this could maybe be a tip for anybody who's thinking of getting into this industry. If you want the same day over and over again, do not get into marketing.
Yeah.
Because every day something new pops up. We'll get someone sent me a Slack the other day. They're like, hey, did you see the most recent update from such and such? I was like, the 9 a.m., the 9:05, or the 9:07 change? Like, which one? So you just have to don't be surprised. It's happening. You just got to deal with it. So, and certainly social media. I mean, when we think about more of the D2C social media, those are entering more of a mature phase. There's a lot of activity.
Yeah.
LinkedIn feels like it's almost 5 to 7 years behind because we're just seeing video become more prevalent. The user behaviors on LinkedIn for professionals are certainly different than they are on X or on Meta or on TikTok. Certainly different than TikTok. Hopefully, we're not doing all that, but I guess I'm scheduled to dance on a table or do something crazy in a couple weeks, so I get my TikTok views up. We'll see I'm looking at the team here to see what they're saying, but no. So I think staying up on the changes is so very important. When you think about your early career in healthcare and in these other areas, the multi-level marketing, what of those experiences do you really feel prepared you for what you're doing today?
I wouldn't say so much healthcare,
Okay.
but the network marketing. So I'm actually still involved in that. So even when I'm not at work doing marketing, I'm at home doing marketing, and I honestly just love it. But I think that being involved in the network marketing aspect personally, it's forced me to learn, how to work things like Canva, CapCut. I use 11 Labs for things, and just different programs are out there to simplify it. Because I am still, a mom and a wife, and I have an 8-year-old in sports. So I can't just be at home just doing marketing. I can't spend my whole life doing that work and at home. So just being able to simplify it has really, I think, made it easier on the career side for Breck Bueller and ICS, because we can be more proactive and be more time efficient.
Excellent. No, finding those tools and those systems or processes, SOPs that will make you more effective, no matter what the reason, whatever's motivating that efficiency is always the right answer. That's interesting. And I think the way you're approaching things makes a ton of sense because it's more of that grassroots, and there's certainly a need for that grassroots influx into industrial. If you can think back over the last 6 months of something you've done that the results shocked you. I've seen a number of your video posts and your walk around tours at some of the facilities. Was there anything there that you did that really stood out or went really well or like totally bombed. Because like, sometimes we'll work on something like crazy and it'll get like 20 views.
Yeah.
And then we have something that's completely off the cuff. I think not the most intelligent production we've ever done. And it skyrockets, right? Like that's just the beauty of the algorithms.
Yeah.
Is there anything recently you've done that you feel fits into either of those buckets?
I think for the regular side, since visiting the branches and trying to do the just more like real, raw, organic type, where I'm just kind of casually like, hey, we're out here in Cincinnati today and
Sure.
visiting the guys. Let's go see what they're up to. I think those people like to see because it's not only the professional side, but it shows you who we are behind the doors. We're not always just technical people with, our vision dead set on what we're there to do. And
Sure.
we do build relationships still. We do still have a good time. And I mean, they're human. So like, they're not just here to be like robotic and work every day. So I think just showing that side of who our techs are and who Breckbuehler brings in as a company, it holds a lot of power to who Breckbuehler is and ICS because it all comes down to culture.
No, that's great. I think when we look at the Breckbuehler marketing and ICS and we think about American Grit and we think about the culture over strategy kind of approach, that certainly is one of the strengths of this company in the market. And I think the other thing is not only is it great for recruitment, retention, and building that culture, but like you said, customers want to do business with people that they can relate to. And that certainly sets your organization apart from competitors in the marketplace. Not that competitors have bad people per se, but if they're not communicating that brand, there's a gap in the market as to what that story is. And customers, vendors, partners, potential applicants will fill that gap with a story. And if you're not driving that story, if you're not controlling that narrative, the variability on that story out there in the market will be wild and inconsistent over time. So I think you guys have done a great job of that. We've certainly been very pleased to partner with Breckbuehler and ICS on those initiatives and have really seen the marketing program advance amazingly, especially over the past 5 to 7 years with a lot of initiatives that have we believe have gone fairly well. They keep having us back, so I guess that's some indication. I know Dennis does normally complain when he sees me that he has to see me. So that's like my team's doing a great job. Dennis doesn't like to see me, but that's okay. We'll work through that and like professional couples counseling or whatever they call that for colleagues. But no, well, Koti, this has just been a great time to sit down, get to know you a little bit better, and chat through. Are there any other any piece of guidance you would give a colleague who starts in a position like yours and like what you wish you would have known 6 months ago, 8 months ago, that you could share with them? Any type of golden nugget or warning for someone who's thinking about getting into the industry or anything like that?
Yeah, honestly, I would just say give yourself grace. You're not going to figure it all out overnight. You're not going to get it right the first time. For me, it's been test and trial. So just know it's okay to make mistakes. It's okay to learn from it. Not everything you put out there is going to be a hit, but then, once you start planting those seeds and building the growing, people will start watching. So yeah, just give yourself grace and learn what you can, use any resources you have, be very involved with, for me, both sides, ICS and Breckbuehler. And yeah, you'll figure it out. I mean, it's one of those things where, like we said, it's changing rapidly. Marketing is never going to be the same. So I think if you just have your rhythm and you figure out what's working best for you and the company you're working for and helping with the marketing, it will all work out.
So, Koti, I think that's a great perspective. And I think one of the things that has changed probably in the past 10 years is we have a new generation of marketers who has more of that grassroots experience.
Yeah.
And more of that fail is the first attempt in learning, progress over perfection.
Yep.
Whereas if you think back 15, 20 years, we were always worried about, it has to be perfect before it goes out because the distribution is singular. there's that one moment where it is exposed to the market and then maybe never seen again.
Yeah.
We're now like, okay, we throw out a LinkedIn post at 9. Okay, it didn't go well. Throw another one out at 1. And so like, there's so many iterations that we can do a better job and improve on as we move forward. So I love that approach. And I think the testing, we try to test, A/B test everything, message variations, visuals, whatever we can, because we have to find out what's going to work.
Yeah.
And the difference between success and failure is often not what we think it is, especially when we're dealing with the algorithms.
Yeah.
So you got to find out what's going to work. So I love that. And I think that's a great attitude that's going to serve you very, very well in your career.
Thank you.
And just thank you for taking the time to sit down today.
For sure.
Really appreciate it. I know you were absolutely looking forward to this, but you've done amazing. You've done amazing. So we really appreciate that.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining the Missing Half podcast, where we're discovering what's missing in manufacturing and B2B marketing. Like, share, subscribe. Have a great day.